Guys, here's a demonstration of how to make more of a three-dimensional installation piece. We have our matchsticks here, we've got thread, and we've got the Fevikwik or the super glue. So this is something you can actually really play with, matchsticks and thread, and you can do all kinds of things, hang things, etc. But we're gonna make a little kind of sculptural piece, and I'm gonna pull out a good amount of thread here. So you want it really maybe like about 2-3 feet long. And to begin with, I will tie this thread around the end here. So wrap it around a number of times and give yourself a little knot to make sure that it stays. You're working small, but so it's a little bit of a challenge, but you'll get used to it. So you start off with one nice tight knot after kind of wrapping it around a couple of times. Good. So there we have a nice tight knot there. And now the fun begins. So I'm going to grab a bunch of, let's put these on the side. And I'm going to start with joining these two together. So right where my knot is, I'm going to place the other matchstick and kind of hold it in place like this, and just wrap it around the two of them, around one way of the X here, and then I'm going to go in between and wrap it the other way, so that it ends up with kind of like, it becomes pretty stable. If you can see that the thread is sort of crossing over both of these matchsticks. Next, without letting go of while keeping it tense or tight, I'm going to take another matchstick and I'm going to randomly place it somewhere else. Okay, so now I'm getting this shape. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. I kind of let go of that thread, but that's okay. I pull it tight again, and I do my wrapping one way around the X there, and then I'm going to kind of flip it around and do it the other way as well. You can see what I'm doing. So in essence, I'm getting getting the wrapping going around both sides. Sorry, my lighting here is pretty poor. Not the best production values, but I'm just trying to give you the kind of the idea. Okay, so now we've got two of these. Now, while holding this somewhat tight, I'm going to go and add randomly another piece on here. Okay, so maybe I'll put it something like this. Right? I don't want it to get too symmetrical, otherwise it just looks boring. And here I go again with my wrapping. And as you can see, I'm starting to actually run out of thread. So you really want to start off with a nice long piece of thread. And as you see, it's starting to kind of take on sort of an unusual shape, right? Do you see that? It's just the nature of the thread joints that cause it to twist and turn. So now let me add one more joint here, and then we're going to do something fun. Okay, so I could add some more thread. My thread's running out. Okay, but what the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take these two ends and I'm going to join them. I'm going to flip it around here and tie, and there we go. Okay, so I kind of ran out of thread, but see what happens here. I'm starting to get this really interesting three-dimensional shape, right? And I can keep adding matchsticks wherever I want them to go by taking this thread and wrapping it around. It gets a little bit harder once you've joined them, so it's a little bit harder to wrap it around, but you can still do it. Now here's a little trick I'm going to add. You don't have to do this if you don't have the super glue, but if you do have the super glue, it's a great way to seal your joints there. Okay, so that thread over there wasn't even a lot of thread, but because I added that little drop of super glue, and I have to hold it for about 10-12 seconds before it really bonds. But once I've done that, it'll stay really nice and strong. And I can do the same with these other joints. Just add a little bit of a touch, and it basically solidifies that joint. Okay, and over here. Okay, I want to get my cap back on here quickly, because otherwise the super glue runs out super fast. Now see what's happened. Okay, you've got this very interesting kind of three-dimensional shape. Now you can keep going with this. This is just the beginning. But if you see, I've actually done another one here. So I've got two of these, and I can start adding them together and to create some fascinating shapes here. Right? And you can start thinking through, okay, how can I start bringing emphasis into here, or balance, or movement with the lines, right? You can start to plan out some of your principles of design. I hope that is inspirational and helpful.